What's beginning to happen is a doorway is opening. It'll be opening fully the first day of October. What you're experiencing now is the anticipatory flavor of going through that doorway. And as you wake up in the morning to start your day, you've been doing that for a number of years, you're going to find going through the doorway is the start of a new type of day, a more surreal. You're proceeding to that date. You're going through the emotional and energized experience of it now. You're actually releasing things you don't want to carry through that doorway. Thought packages and those sort of things. Because the body is going to begin to change, feeling-wise. Your feelings, emotional understandings have been patterned after defensive measures. By that I mean protecting yourself from the we're going to call it a circulation pattern. Circulation like water circulates. You have fluid in your body. In fact, your body is mostly fluid. And that fluid is beginning to cognosate. It's beginning to recognize itself as a body in you. Fluidic. Take a breath in the nostrils. Hold it a moment and let it out. Take another breath in. Let it out. One more. In. That in breath is a feeling of it. Let it out. Now one more with this one in, and you're going to find out the being coming in says, I am breath. Breathe in. There's a breath. Floats on top of the water. Air and water. So you're breathing air, you say. But it's the breath of you. It's the same air that's in the room for everyone to breathe. Same air. The cognizant understanding of breath is, it's your breath. And breath came into you. Air came into you. As a being. The beings have not learned how to work appropriately with it. You do know you need breath. When you're underwater, you have to come up. When you're running, you need to breathe differently. You're going to find the automatic response to breathing that you're going through now because you're not conscious of your breath, really. You breathe in and out, walk, talk. But you're going to be hearing on the intake of the breath what's in the space. And I don't just mean local space, because you have an influence coming down now that's trying to I'm going to have to use this word because that's what's going to happen, or trying to make it happen. There's a destructive force coming to destroy humanity. You have problems here now, difficulties. And you're seeing it and feeling it just in the space you're in. There's an insecurity there about what the presence is and what's next to you, behind you in clear space. The knowledge that you were born out of a womb is very important. Because whether you can remember it or not, the system does, remembers the push, the out, the expansion. When you came out, you had adults that cared for you. Move the little thing around. When you come out this side, at this doorway you're going through, you're going to have to care for yourself. You're going to be, for a moment in time, in a space called alone. Be light. You feel presences, but you won't be able to see them. It will be like you're in your sleep state, semi-awake, going to sleep, just waking up. That portion there. And since you two are the only ones that want to know how to handle this, I'm going to tell you. When you're going through this, the door, you take your index finger and put it at your solar plexus. There's a lock there. I've told you about shields and seals. The seals will already be there. This locks everything. It claims your position, wherever you are in safety. Right here. It's a push, it's a button there. It goes back to your spine. And it'll radiate down to your pelvic area. And it gives you the moment of your I amness that's going to start coming up and move. The important thing about this part is don't think. No discussion, no nothing. Be under the influence. Because this index finger through the crown is connected to what you term the on high. This is what gives you permission. If you forget to ask for permission to enter, this gives you the permission. This calms yourself down inside. All of you. All of the beings in there. Everyone will take a seat. Because as you walk through this door, it's like the eye of the needle that you turn through. You've got to go straight through. When it opens, it looks very narrow. Just wide enough for your body. You don't have to turn sideways. You'll just make it through. You feel the edges. And when you go through the other side, it opens like this. And you're in this gigantic realm of forest, mountains. What does it look like? The Buddhist temple areas that you see in the movies. And what will happen is you're going to understand that's your space. You've claimed the space. They allowed you to claim that space. It's a Buddhic technique for maintaining your presence in chaotic circumstances. Because things are going to really start to get chaotic. A lot of people are already talking about the anxiety and anxiousness. The thing is, the index finger, solar plexus, calm yourself. Watch nature. Particularly, watch the birds. The birds right now are weaving tapestry for new spatial recognition. By that I mean they're weaving through the sky cords of light and what you say tones, So when the expansion of yourself happens, you'll see it and you'll know what will be termed the new grid system, that it's not a grid. It's an expression experience. Because you all have the uniqueness of the understanding of what a feather is, because it's your spine. And energy radiates through there. So you're going from the magnificent portion of yourself as you are now to a very thin feather, and back to yourself. And the feather was vertical. You'll go toward it, you'll merge with it, it'll come into you, you'll adjust, you'll feel it, and what will happen is there's a new system of breath you'll be introduced to. It'll come over your shoulders from the back and your chest portion here, up by the thorax here, not the throat chakra, sternum area. There'll be a breath thing there, and you might feel like you're getting the breast of a bird there. But that's the being associated with you, what is termed your, well, we like to use the word guardian angels, but it's more of a guardian spirit that's connected with the spirit of breath, which is a being that's in you, and you're being introduced. You're going through that introduction now. Nobody has said this anywhere yet. You're part of this experiment as you go through it. And when this sternum bone begins to claim itself, which is you, you will hear things differently. You will react differently. You'll begin to know things differently. And I don't mean before they happen. You're going to be in the expression of the experience as it occurs, and you're going to know it without the questioning. This is the part of the process of growing up as you understand yourselves. The need for air and water is going to be understood. The need to communicate with the water, because that is what manifests for you. You don't do it. The water does it. It's most of you. And as you play with your thoughts and your test tube body thing, you agitate the water with your judgments and confine it to certain categories with your opinions. The thing is to ask for clarity in the water, especially when you drink it, and with the being in the air as you drink it, you felt that being. It comes in. Thank the being for being in the air to mix with the water. You're going to find yourself a new person. Water is going to be scarce soon. Potable water, drinkable water. You're poisoning everything. You're going to have to at least understand a little bit of what condensation is, but we hope it doesn't get that bad. You have difficulty in your world today with this great control energy beginning to manifest itself. Wants to grab everything. And you have, well, been told, but never quite sunk in yet. You're going to have to learn to determine yourself. That does not mean let someone else determine who you are. So you're going through right now, if you raise the forces up, you're going through this understanding of yourself. And as it comes up with everyone, there's a lot of confusion because I thought it's that way. So you're going to have to start with a definition. And that definition is the I am that I am. That's who you are. You need to figure it out, how it works. Because right now, there are those that are going to be given command authority. And by that I mean you ask the divine, you will receive it. But you need a purpose for what you're receiving, for what is intended to do. Not just self-gratification or self-satisfaction. That's the process you're learning to overcome now. That's what's going on in your world. This great concern for control of everything. You're not in control of the weather. You never will be totally. And you're not quite aware of how your forces create the weather. You're not truly aware how the water pulls and pushes the moon. You think the moon pushes and pulls the water. Water is not magnetic, it's not electrical, it's neutral. The only thing that pushes and pulls water is weight, gravity itself. Pulls water. So it's a gravitational force in your planet that's moving this water, that's drawing the moon through. You've been told the moon's artificial. It's a reflector to slow down the process of the sun so you can have some intermediate reaction with it. Because if the sun was gone and you had no moon, you'd be in terror for those hours. Because you forgot yourself. So the moon was placed there so you'd have a memory of a reflection of the sun that is going to be there. It hasn't gone away. If you didn't have your moon there, you would not know if the sun went away during the night. Or if you have a day coming. You're going to experience what is termed the black moon this September 30th, which is part of the doorway thing. It cancels out negativity in a manner for those that are unprepared. It's a buffer. It'll hold space for you while you go through this doorway. It's coming soon. You're feeling it now. The doorway opens the heart chakra. You go through it, the doorway opens that heart chakra. You don't open it. That's why you have your shields and seals there. The key is here, and it becomes opened. It's a breath that's going to take you by surprise, but it's also a beautiful understanding of your own inner beauty and dynamics that you haven't let yourself see yet. The trick is not to get caught up into it. The trick will be to breathe the doorway, know that it's there. It'll always be there. And then you adjust the harmonic, which is the tone in your bones, which is your name, first name, which balances the water body that you are, and thankfulness. The first name does that. That's what it does. That's who you are. Your first name does it. Think of your first name right now. There you are. There you are. With all your profound powers and all your insecurities. Right there. This process you beings call growing up is really a birth process. You're constantly birthing yourself. Each day you have a new life. You do. That's why it's important to get things done in your day, so when you wake up the next day, the new being is there, doesn't have to go back and cover what you didn't do. Then you can recognize your newness. You won't be hanging on to the old one of you will be hanging on to having not done something. It becomes the nag. So do what you see needs to be done. Do it. Take a rest, maintain your space, and don't neglect anything. You're in this sleep mode. You're waking up. You're feeling the weight of space on a body that you're not used to yet. Your body. It's a fluidic and air body. It's becoming lighter. The density it doesn't want to deal with. So you're resting the form, which is your genetic line, because it's not just you that's there in that body, it's the family you came from, and they're with you, and you're the one that said you could do this, at least take it as far as you could in this lifetime. Whatever the process of spiritual understanding is that you're going through. So you're working it. You're feeling it. Some are beginning to understand it. Once you get through the doorway, however, the feeling of freedom and expansion of consciousness takes hold of you. You have a whole new sense of who you are, how to do things, what to do, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, and what you find out you're weighing yourself down with too much. So you're going to start lightening up. So you have what we're going to call, you'll eventually get to it, uniqueness to take care of. Because it's your uniqueness that's you. Different from anybody else. And that uniqueness can be found by your name and your bones. What it means, what it feels like, and the purpose of it. You've got your world in the mire now. There are no world leaders coming up to stand forward. They're arguing with that. The human condition is calling a lot upon itself for justification, for pity, for mercy, for hope. But right now, most of the planet has run out of hope. So the important thing to remember from this little moment we're having together here is this index finger here, particularly these next 3 or 4 days. Because you're going, as you approach the portal, it expands this way toward you. You'll feel like wants to suck you into it. That's why you do this. I want you to know what you're going into. You get sucked into it, you have no idea what happened. You wake up, what happened? Dream? What? No. You put that index finger here. And you can run it up your sternum because you feel the energy going through the sternum. That's your bird body. It knows. And you listen to the calls of the birds. You'll interpret. They're the ones going to be teaching the show now. They're going to be teaching the show. And I'm not just talking about hummingbirds. I'm talking about all of the birds. They're weaving a pattern for protection and safety around the human condition. Or trying to. Without it being distorted. But there's an antithesis to that, because you have some beings that are aware of what the birds are doing, and they're killing them. Birds are falling out of the skies, particularly on the East Coast. It's a radiation force. That, and a pesticide poisoning thing, and that thing. Nature will survive. You're part of nature. She's the teacher. You're going to have to really pay attention to her now. Seriously so. Beings have directed their anger at animals, and the animals have suffered. It's now time to cease that, the human condition out there. You have animals now, bears, sharks, attacking humans, attacking boats, sharks. Bears attacking humans coming out of the mountains, many, not just one or two incidences. You have elephants in India running over their keepers now. Nature is taking charge of disrespect for herself. I'll say that. So be aware. And you can advise others to calm with nature, but everybody talks about it. But this is the secret. This is your index finger. On either hand, it means I am. You put it here, it'll take you through this, what we're going to call the sanctuary. It might be confusing because you'll feel it, but you're safe there. When you take the breath, you feel her coming in, pay attention. You're going to learn a new technique of how to walk, literally. The hips are going to start changing. Pelvic bones. Handling a different frequency. I don't mean you'll be hopping like a bird, no. But you're going to feel your legs want to be a place you didn't think you wanted to put them. So you have to be aware now. You've got 3 bodies, 3 personalities coming into you, the big ones. One from the left, one from the right, and then you have the one from the center that understands the processes of all these things. That's the one that has a desire to know God knows God, God knows